everyone, welcome back to another exciting episode of Attacker Productions. Today, I'm currently joined once again by Nick and Jimmy.
Hey, everybody.
Yes, sir.
Unfortunately, Fluff couldn't join us today, so we're going to carry on as always. We got Nick and Jimmy fighting each other in the finals. Congrats, guys.
I miss Fluff.
Yeah, a lot of people miss Fluff.
He's on like a five day hiatus. What up with that?
I mean, it's what happens in tax season. Work picks up for him. So, we have Xeno Gogeta being played by Nick and Supreme Kai of Time being played by Jimmy. Guys, take it away.
Sir, I mean, we all know Nick's being a meta whore. You didn't even need to say that Nick was playing Xeno Gogeta. Everybody just knows.
Hang on. So let's go even further quick. So I came into this event knowing that there was a 50% chance of getting the AOD Janemba. And I was like, man, I gotta bring an A game. And I see Nick, I'm like, Nick, what the hell, man? Why are you bringing a meta-based deck? And he's like, what do you mean? I'm like, it's Xeno Gogeta. Like, I was giving him shit. And then I sit down in front of him in round one. I'm like, all right, later. You're like, what? Because I was playing AOD. So, I mean, it is what it is.
That's hard to tell you, man.
I'll still be upset at Nick.
It's good. It does things, and it's fun.
I feel like it's a meme now just to give Nick shit for playing certain decks.
I can't play anything.
Yeah. Exactly. That's
we all know what Xeno Gogeta does, but what about Kai of Time, Jimmy? Talk about that.
It does Xeno Gogeta stuff.
Perfect.
It totally can, actually, can it? Yeah.
Yeah, it's I made the joke when we sat down here that this is just going to be us looking at each other and going, can I play SS3? And you go, yeah. And then you pass and you go, can I play SS3? And you go, yeah. And that's pretty much going to be the rest of the match. And it's basically become a game of who's going to draw into their SS4 first. But
yeah, Black Mirror matches are always fun. Because in this scenario, since you want your cards in your warp and I want my cards in the warp, like we're almost helping each other out, like getting ourselves to where we want to be. So it's a very quick match, I would say.
Exactly. There's a couple times in here where I was like, okay, like he's got it, and then you were like, nah, I don't got shit, and you pass back to me, and you're like, okay, good game. I was like, I can't win. What are you talking about? Like, because it's like, I felt like every time that I would do something, it would somehow help you out and make you beat me. And I guess you were thinking the same thing. So it was just a stalemate all across the board.
Yeah, and with Gogeta Xeno, I mean, it is a tier 1 deck. I mean, it's pretty much the consensus. But it's not tier 0 just because of the fact that it does rely on a little bit of RNG, just bursting your cards into the warp. So not seeing the right pieces at the right time, they can really hurt you, especially in the early game, because you don't get your stuff the way you want it to. And I was having that problem in this game specifically. I think I only had one Goku and one Vegeta, so I could only really fuse pretty much once per turn, and I didn't want to deck myself out too low. So it was kind of awkward getting towards the later portions of the game.
Mm-hmm. And seeing you go down in life so quickly was kind of surprising to me, because I didn't know if you had any experience with Supreme Kai and how broken some of her plays could be. So seeing you take your life down so quickly kind of scared me into the idea that you had a little bit more in your hand than you were leading on to.
Well, considering both of our decks are mostly both aggro decks, it was going to be decided on who was able to pop off first. And essentially, in this case, I was just taking the gamble, saying I had more than you did.
Double petrification off the burst.
Yep, and I only run 2, so that was fun seeing that get hit. Especially also seeing 2 of my Beyond All Limits Gokus on the first burst. My bursts were not fantastic. Luckily, I was able to Beyond All Limits into a Beyond All Limits, which was nice. But
so, in your experience with the deck, how much fixing do you generally have to do to get your warp and drop in the places where you want it to be?
Usually, my variation of the deck is a little less consistent than it probably could be. since I don't run a lot of Goku and Vegeta targets to get my thwartings off. So there's some situations where I have to combo extra cards to, get the cards that I need, or I have to combo heavy from the hand to be able to follow up with another Overrealm to make use of Wormhole, which I don't have the Unison out, but the Unison is really, really powerful in this list. And to note, the Unison can be played off of the leader by tapping 1 black energy, discarding a card, and then playing it from the drop or warp with a marker on it. Throughout this game, I completely just forgot about the discard on the activate main, and was just paying 1 to play out the Unison. Hey, shut up. But I think after the end of the match, and once we both discussed it, we kind of determined that it would probably help me more than hinder me to be able to discard those cards for free.
And what he means by that is he said that, and I just kind of stood there.
And then you agree. Don't even play like that, Nick. Don't even play like that.
Everybody at the shop does 2 things to me. They hate on me, and they cheat on me.
Yeah, this says the man coming in with his tier 1 decks. Bro, we're talking so much shit that he's going to hit us with like, hey, don't come to the Scabbard tomorrow, and he's going to show up with Cell Surge.
Yeah, y'all better watch out. I keep it in my box. You know it's there.
So here, I do play the Unison. I do completely miss the discard, which, if you see, I only have 2 cards in the dropper at this time. Discarding an extra would have been really nice to be able to push more Overrealm. Which, of course, I did not have Wormhole, so I couldn't do it that turn, but it would have helped me in the future.
Wormhole activates when you activate Overrealm, right?
Yes. So something to note about the Supreme Kai leader is that she plays off of Overrealm only. So Dark Overrealm will not trigger her ability. Same with the Demigra. So there's some situations where you could kind of be blocked into, if you want to be able to trigger all of your effects, you have to burn a unoptimal Overrealm first before playing your Dark Overrealm. Which there's only 2 Dark Overrealm cards in the deck, the Demigra and the Energy, and then my Secret Rare Rebelu. So it does kind of suck sometimes having to burn an Overrealm before Demigra, especially on a turn that you don't want to be able to activate your leader ability. So another thing, if you don't know about Supreme Kai, you can crit a life, put 2 black battle cards into the drop area from your warp, and then your Overrealm cards stick around. So it's a Toki City built into the leader. But luckily Demigra has the option to be able to play by Overrealm as well, but that bars you into having to activate that ability if you want them to stick around, which you do because that card is busted as fuck.
Here's our thwarting battles.
A good thwarting on thwarting violence here, which was great because I only have 4 cards in my warp at this time, and if you're familiar with the super combo, I have to have 5 cards in my warp to be able to get the effect. So it kind of, again, going back to, we were just helping each other win the game.
Yeah, we're good friends like that.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what's up. Yeah, it's because I like you too much.
Oh, was that what it is?
No.
And in this build, I do run Demon God Demigra. Some people don't run it in Gogeta Xeno list. I personally love the card because if I can get it on the right setup, like, it's just really good at keeping the opponent's hand low, especially if they have a Unison card out, so I don't have to give them any value for swinging with the 30k. And since it is Dark Overrealm, it's going to stick around. So if it stays on the board more than 1 turn, then it just pops. It's fantastic.
Like that Demigra, we've said it so many times. That Demigra is just every good Overrealm card on 1 card. Like, if you take the good text on every Overrealm card that has been meta in the past and put it on 1 card, that's Demigra. So I think fitting it in any deck is fantastic. And I think at Gogeta Xeno, while it is kind of an energy investment, where in a deck where everything costs like 1 energy max most of the time or free, it is kind of investment, but I think you play it very well. I have seen you absolutely decimate people with Demigras on field.
Yeah, especially in the slower matchups too, because if you can establish that, and you have a True Fighting Spirit on board, if you're going up against any blue and you have Vegeta True Fighting Spirit on board, like you're just able to do so much. Like if your opponent wants to negate, they have to warp like 2 or 3 cards from their hand to do anything. So it's really good pressure in the right matchups.
And once again, missing a discard here. Nick, I don't want to hear it from you. Actually, going into this matchup, this was the matchup I was dreading the most all night. Because I had played against Gogeta decks that just pop off, and it's like I don't even get to play the game. I just sit there and watch you, dick around and swing cards at me. That I was kind of trying to enjoy myself. I don't get to play Dragon Ball every day of the week, so this is my one day that I get to have fun. And then this man shows up with Gogeta Xeno. But it ended up being a much closer match than I expected.
Well, one of the biggest differences between my deck and your deck is I play a lot of small guys fast, but you do the same thing but with bigger bodies. So it's really hard for an aggro-based deck like myself to defend against 30k swings. I did add some more defensive tech with counter attacks from my previous builds, but with this, like it's pretty hard to defend against those swings. Like if you're gonna put them through, like almost 9 times out of 10, I can't stop them. So it's really awkward for me to be at this low life total, like you said. And that's just kind of my lack of experience playing against Supreme Kaitan because we never really saw the deck that much. But now since it's got all this newer stuff, like it's strong. I mean, the proof's in the pudding.
Yeah, I think with the availability of a lot of these more expensive cards that were ran in big overwhelm decks like this, where Mythic Booster has destroyed the market on these cards, like I think we'll be seeing a lot more of the Supreme Kai style decks and more probably mono black decks just now because the availability of them.
Yeah, and here I do my petrification, and now I have one of the biggest choices like in my life. do I petrify the thwarting to stop the warping of my battle cord, or do I petrify the overwhelmed SS4 Goku to stop him from swinging? Because I don't know what kind of pressure he has from me. The whole time I was kind of expecting a Champa in hand, so I would just automatically lose. So I took the safer route and went with the hitting the SS4 Goku, and I think that was the right choice in that time.
Oh yeah, I do think it was. If I remember correctly, at this time I had a few super combos in hand that I was going to go digging for the Champa on the big 30k swing, which could have hindered me if I burned all my super combos and then whiffed finding them. But I could tell after you petrified that you were scared of the Champa.
Well, who isn't, right?
It's one of the best cards in the game, so.
Especially if all of your deck is 30k or higher, it's going to be hard to outcomp that.
Yes, certainly. This deck just feels so much like Dark Broly, and Dark Broly is one of my favorite archetypes this game has ever had. So, getting something similar in feel without having to pay 1 energy for all of them is almost refreshing.
Yeah. So here I am with an open board. Nothing really much to do. I'm just double checking. I think I might have. Yeah, I do the PyCon. Get that out. But I think at this point in the game, I only had like 3 cards in hand, and nothing I was able to really use per se. So I'm kind of thinking about how in the world am I going to do anything. So I just kind of draw just to get something, and then go from there to see. And at this point, I don't think you really care what I'm doing because you're in such a much better spot than I am.
Well, I was still scared because I don't have a hard negate in hand. So if you were to pop off, like I have no way to stop the attack dead. I have combo power, but combo power is only going to get me so far. And this was a really hard decision on my part, and I'm really glad I made the decision to Super Kamehameha that guy, since it was your only option there.
So Yeah, good game, guys.
Was that a good game, Nick?
Yeah, it was a 7 out of 10. Solid.
Damn,
And
Nick
that's
being
what
positive.
matters. So with that being said, thank you all for tuning in. Keep in mind, just buttons down below and on the screen. And like always, read your cards, know your plays, and fluff out.